This is the Automate Office Work Ideas portal from the perspective of a global admin. In previous videos, we showed the perspective from a normal user and also an idea owner. As a global admin, you have extra rights, more so than, of course, an average user and an idea owner. An admin can delegate several of these rights to these other groups. And also in the examples that I showed from these other users, many of the access rights that they had already been given by a global admin, which we can revoke those, we can turn those off as a global admin, and the global admin will still be able to do those things. The biggest thing that you'll notice as a global admin when you come to this homepage is that you have an icon to go to the admin page. And I'll click on that. We see the admin settings. If a normal person or simply an idea owner, somebody who's not a global admin, if they were to accidentally come to this URL, it says page equals admin. I do have it set up currently that they are able to view all of these settings, but they cannot make any changes. Everything is read only. And they are also greeted with a box at the top that says they are not authorized to make changes, they can only view. Now, the first thing you notice as an admin is that you can manage the list of global admins. You can add more people as global admins, and as a global admin, you can remove other people, you just cannot remove yourself. So I'm not able to remove myself, but if there were other people, each person would have an X to the left of their email address. I can remove them. The next thing that you see is the word ideas next to platform name, and it has a light color of a background. This light color background indicates that you can edit. So I can click into this box and it becomes editable. I can now change the name of the entire platform. By default, it is called Ideas. You can change it to something else. So I'll change it to Ideas Test, and I will click away, and you see a save box appeared momentarily. And now up at the top in the navigation, it says Ideas Test. I can click on Ideas Test. And yeah, instead of saying ideas simply on the homepage, it says ideas test and ideas test. So everywhere we have the platform name, it is updated. Okay, I'll go back to the admin page. I can change this back to simply ideas. I can do the same thing with the logo. I can choose a different file. I can remove it completely. The colors are editable here. This first one is the hue of the color. So like I can go to the right and we can get a light purple color. If you need a darker, because there is like a border around this, as well as inside the save box, we're using the dark color as the color of our text. If you need that to be even darker, you can then you can go lighter or darker as you need. So you might notice like this darken, it is the color of the check boxes. And so you can lighten it if you need lighter check boxes, or you can darken that if you need darker check boxes. It's especially useful if you use a color like yellow. If this is too light, like in the save box that just appeared a little bit, if it is too light, you can't read what that says. It said saving, but it was too light. So you can darken that to more of like a brown, and now you see saving saved. It's set in a brownish color. So you can darken the dark version of the color. Okay, and along with that, we have this white text. And that is that when there is a box and it has a dark color background, by default our text is black, but if that background color is too dark, we need to flip it to white text. And this is how you tell it to flip it to white text. So you can turn that on and off as you need to. Okay, the next one says hide SharePoint banner, and by default we are hiding all of the SharePoint navigation that you normally see on SharePoint pages. If I was to unclick this, You see a whole bunch of like SharePoint navigation stuff. You can also like, now I've got an expand kind of a button here to expand this SharePoint kind of stuff. So it shows you even more SharePoint stuff. And now I have these tabs for like browsing. I can go to page. I can edit the page. So if you need this stuff, it's available to you. You can also have it be shown to your users if you want your users to be having a more normal SharePoint experience. In my experience, most people want this hidden. So by default, it is hidden. And you can unhide it. You can hide it back again. So I'm going to come back here. I'm going to go down to the box, hide SharePoint banner, click on that. We come back up. All of that SharePoint stuff is hidden. Okay. The next part is a portal header. And you might have noticed in this video and in the previous videos, we had a nice navigation bar up at the very top. It has the logo of your organization. It has the name of your department and a link to that. And then we have links, like it's called a breadcrumb, so that your user can be on a certain page, but then they can click back to the Ideas homepage. We can also see the email address of the person logged in. Also, there's a waffle icon. They can click on that, and there's a menu that you can show all of the different tools that are in your ecosystem, maybe broken out into categories, make it very nice for your people. But this is not turned on by default when you do an install, and that is right here, portal header. So to turn this on, you check the box. If this is not turned on, we are not going to use that navigation bar. Instead, we're only going to show our users this little house icon when they are not on the home page, and then this little house, they click on it, brings them back to the home page. So if you want to be able to use this, you check this box. You then point it to where there are 3 files, and it's all described in this description box below. I'm going to change the background color to a nicer color that I like. Right there, a medium blue. Okay, so there are 3 files inside this portal. These 3 files are included in your installation file. In your installation zip file, there is a folder called Portal. Inside that Portal folder are these 3 files called header.html, menu.html, and logo.svg. So you have to point the tool to where these 3 files are located, that folder. We do capture in the installation process where your document library is, which for me, it was at sites/legal/ideas, and it automatically adds this portal onto here. So by default, you should have a nice place that you can point to, and you'll get a nice navigation bar. Now, it might not be the navigation bar that you want. Like this word legal, maybe you need to change it to your department. So you would go to, in SharePoint, you would go to that file, header.html, and you edit the HTML to say your department name, and you would link it to wherever your department's homepage is. For me, it's at sites/legal. You can change that link inside that HTML file. You can also change the color. There are some CSS properties with like the background color. You can change the background color to whatever you want. Maybe you can change the font size to whatever you want. And then there's also a logo, which it's pointed to logo.svg. It's that file. You can replace that file with your company's logo, or you can also edit the header.html to point it to a different image. Maybe you have an official place where your company logo is, and you just point it at that one copy of that one file, and so you just use that. Okay, and then this menu that pops up, this is located at menu.html, and you would go and you would edit that. You would be able to then edit this and make it exactly how you want it to look for your users. I do like to split up tools into different categories. I do find that like half of the tools that we create are focused more on communication, because communication is so difficult to get right. You do need the right kind of tools. So I usually like to have a communication category, and then I have a different category where it's functional, and then your communication, maybe you have like a communication strategy or a policy and you want to be able to link it to that. And maybe you do want to break out the ideas tool as its own separate thing. So maybe at the very bottom, then you have a separate category for ideas, and you might say, got an idea or want to see what we are working on. And then you have a link to the ideas. So yeah, think about how when you're building out your ecosystem of tools, how do you want people to be able to go from one tool and then be able to see all the tools that are available to them? That is this header portal that is available to you. You might even think about moving these 3 files, maybe not keep them inside your ideas document library, but maybe you could create a separate document library just called portal, and you put the 3 files there. And then in each of these tools, as you are pointing, you can remove the word ideas, and you would point simply to your document library, which is dedicated for the portal. And it would then get all those. It'll create a really nice navigation for you. Of course, you can also just skip all of this and not have the portal header turned on. You can choose just to skip all of this complexity. Well, it's complexity for you, but then your users will only see a little house with an icon, with an arrow pointed to bring them back to the home page. Okay, the next part is the page URL. This is automatically filled in during your installation process, which we will go over the installation process in a separate installation video, but you can also change this at any point. So in the installation process, we do describe 2 different ways that you can create a page. And you can create multiple pages that all point to this one tool, but then you reflect it to different URLs. But when we are creating an email that goes to your users, we're going to be inviting them in the email to come to the tool, to do things, to come look at the created ideas or the new comment that has been given. So we need a specific URL. You might have multiple URLs. We need one that is going to be used in the emails. And that's what this box is. It's really capturing. It is filled in by you by default. You can edit it and create a different URL if you need to. The next thing, only admins can submit new ideas. Okay, so when I was showing from the perspective of a new user, the new user was able to submit a new idea. You can turn that ability off here. You can check this box, and it means only admins can create new ideas. Only admins can show hidden. Okay, in the average user version, I showed that you can go and show hidden ideas. If you don't want your users to be able to do that, you just check the box. So only admins can do that. The next thing is learn more, and I did mention in the user video, the normal user video, that this has not been set up yet. And so this is where we set it up. Okay, you can turn on, there's a little kind of a button that will appear in the top right just to give your users help. It's to direct them to a help file, and you show it, which it's showing. You can give it a label like learn more or help or whatever you want that to say. You can also have a Word docx icon that appears. You can turn that on or off. And most importantly here, we need a link to it, and it's going to have to be a sharing link. So it's described in the box here. You should have a docx file called learnmore.docx in your document library. You need to go to this link. So I'm going to go click on this link, and I have memorized the rest of these instructions, so I will just do it, and I'll show you how to do it. You hover over learnmore.docx. You click on copy link, and it says people in your organization with the link can edit. We do not want them to have edit rights. Instead, we want to change this to can view and apply. And now that link has been copied, and I come back here, I right click, and I choose paste as plain text. And now I've got this link. Okay, I'm going to click away from it, and now that has all been saved. So now we've got all of these things that are filled in. Now if I go to the home page, there will be a Learn More link at the top that is right here. So it's showing Learn More, it's showing the icon, it's linking to our shared document. When I click on this, it opens a docx file, and this has when you are installing, you get a default version of this file. You can then go through and you can edit this. The idea is to give your people just a one-page help that they need really quick to get up to speed how to use the Ideas portal. You might put links to recorded videos that you have for training your people. You might also put links to these general videos that I'm providing. You might put them there as well if you only want your people to have general help. But I'm imagining that you are going to want to set this up, have this be used by your innovation team. You're going to want to be able to tell people how your innovation team works and so forth, and invite them to engage with you and your team, not necessarily with me as the developer, right? And so along with that, I would say you should always put at the bottom of your page when this page was last updated. You should also tell them who they can reach out to. The global admin for this tool, in case of technical issues, is, so you need to let them know who they can reach out to if they need any help and assistance. You also tell them contact idea owners for specific ideas, right? It's not the admin's place to be taking questions about a specific idea. That's for them to work out. Okay, and they can also find articles and videos about this platform on my website, automateofficework.com/ideas. Okay, so go ahead, come to this file. Admins have edit rights. Everybody else should have only view rights with that link. Okay. So I go back to the admin page. We are done with the Learn More section. Below that is a welcome message. This appears at the top of the home page if you want. If you don't want any message to appear, then just leave it blank. Okay, there's also a footer at the bottom of the home page, the settings page, and each idea page. You can tell people who to contact for technical issues. There's also a submission confirmation message that appears when people submit a new idea. Maybe you want to integrate this into like your ideas manager or some kind of a committee. Let the people, well, first of all, say thank you, let them know the idea has been received, and let them know what the next steps are. Perhaps that there's a committee or an innovation manager who will review the idea and maybe get in touch with them within a certain number of days. Maybe you want to schedule a call to I don't know, discuss their needs and how you can best help each other. Okay, the next flag is only admins can hide ideas. Okay, so I have this checked by default. If you uncheck it, it means an idea owner can hide their own ideas. Once an idea is hidden, it has to be unhidden to be shown on the homepage, and an idea owner, if they're able to hide, or just you, once an idea is hidden, you can delete an idea completely. It will remove all the data from the system, which of course cannot be undone. Okay, the next thing is the statuses that are available. As an admin, you can reword these. You can change the wording. You can click and drag these. You click on the vertical dots. You can drag these around. You can delete them. You can add new ones. The thing is that the very first one cannot be deleted. So if you want to delete this submitted, you'd have to change its position and then delete it. Because we always need at least the first status will be used to, it will be the default status of new ideas. So we always need at least one status. So that's why this one is highlighted in blue and you cannot delete it. Also, if you are deleting a status, if it is being used by an idea currently, you will get a warning that you cannot actually delete it because it's being used. by an idea. So you'll need to filter, find all the ideas that are using this status, and you either delete the ideas, or preferably you just go and you set the status to something else. So once you have a status that's not being used, you can delete it completely. As well as you can always add more statuses. So use these however you are using this with your innovation manager or an entire innovation committee. You might see here that there are all kinds of statuses as an idea matures and grows. You might want to have it first in discovery, and then maybe on hold and under review. You might want to select an idea to actually build its solution. Then the solution is in building stage. You then have final testing. You have an in pilot. You have ready for launch. You have completed. Or maybe you just cancel an idea altogether. But however many of these you need, you just add them. Maybe you have a stage where there's like a security review, a privacy review. Add those and use them as you need. Your organization is going to be unique. You need to be able to have a tool that matches your needs. And hopefully that's this. The next thing is hide the files folder. Okay, so on an ideas page, there was a folder that we could click on to open a SharePoint page it was a SharePoint folder, and anybody with access to that folder can edit the files, add new files, make a tree of folders, move the files and the folders to wherever they need to. You might actually decide that you don't want your normal users to have access to that file. So if I check this box, they don't have access to it. Only admins and then idea owners would have access to that folder. And that's how you can manage this. The next thing is the summary max characters. So there is a field called summary. The idea is that should only be like 1 or 2 sentences max long, because it's going to appear on the home page, and you don't want pages and pages of details to be visible on that home page. That is meant for the description box. So you can set the maximum number of characters here that your users can use in the summary. Owners can manage subscribers. So in the owners video, I was an owner of an idea and I was able to manage my subscribers. You can turn that off as an admin so that owners cannot manage their subscribers. The subscribers would then manage themselves with a subscribe and an unsubscribe button. And you as an admin, you could go to an ideas page and you could manage the subscribers. Only owners and admins can comment. So this is that update section on an ideas page. When I showed it as a normal user, I was able to give an update. If you check this box, it means then the normal users cannot give updates. They would simply be able to read them. Okay, here is extra dates. So just like we have all those different kinds of statuses, you might want to give a date about like when a tool is actually needed or when a tool has been promised. Like here, you might give even more dates, like when the tool has passed security review, privacy review, all these different kinds of dates. You can use them. You can use up to 10 different dates, and you can give each one a name. They will then appear on the homepage. Of course, they only appear on the homepage when a date has been set. If the date is blank, it's not going to appear on that homepage. So we want to make that homepage look nice. You can reword these. You can add different names. If you do choose just to use a date and you have not given it a name, by default, it's going to appear as date and then the number of the field. So if I was to use this one, it would appear on the home page as date 3. Okay, I'm going to turn it off. Next is the emails that come out from the system. We have 3 different kinds of emails that come out when a new idea is submitted, when a new comment is submitted, and the daily digest email if a person wants to receive only one email. At the tops of those emails, we have an email banner that can be placed. So you can click on this and you can replace it with a different image. The maximum height is 100 pixels. There is no maximum width, but you really should keep it under like 800 pixels or 1,000 pixels. Anything wider is just going to be too wide for anybody on a device reading an email. So yeah, you can remove it completely if you want to. Below this, we do have some instructions of how to set up these system emails. Each system email has a subject, it has a body, and these subjects and bodies, they do have like standard, I'm not sure what to call these, kinds of tags or something, standard codes that you can put in, and they will be replaced by specific data when the email is sent out. So like a new idea has been submitted hyphen title. The title of the new idea will be placed in here. It does say actor has submitted a new idea. When the email comes out, the person who did the action, their email address will be filled in there. You can view this and there will be a URL that invites them to go to the ideas page. That is replaced. You as the administrator, you can make these messages exactly how you want them to say. Maybe you even have some like boilerplate. You could like enter down and you can say you can always manage your subscription preferences, and you might then give the URL. Yeah, it says that you can also use page URL. So you would say page URL question mark page equals settings. This will take them to the settings page always. Or if you wanted to hard code it, you could copy your entire URL. But page URL is just there to help you. Okay, you can also send test emails. So if you want to see what the email looks like exactly, it does fill in some dummy data like a fake title. I think it's a fake actor, or it uses your own email address. I'm not sure. But you'll receive test emails. Okay, for emails to be able to come out from the instructions, you do need to set this up. I do go over this in the installation video, but this is where the instructions are. You're going to be downloading these zip files for these different flows, because SharePoint cannot send emails from somebody's account. That would be hacking. We need you to set it up and give the system permission to send emails on your behalf. We use a Microsoft tool called Power Automate that sets all of this up. So you have all kinds of instructions how to set this up. It will then send these emails, these three different kinds of emails, as well as we do have the possibility to send out error email. So if there's ever an error that happens because of the code, or also because of SharePoint does have its limits. If you do go over the limits, it likes to throw an error, which usually says, this is a temporary error, please wait a minute, and then refresh the page and you should be good. So we are collecting these. There is a SharePoint list for the site errors, and you can set it up so that when these errors occur, an email is sent from someone's account, and it is then sent to a specific person. So either you, or if you would prefer, if you want me to be alerted when these things happen, I can look for patterns. And if something does need to be changed, I could go and, well, of course, correct the code, or make it so that the code is running in a more efficient way so that SharePoint complains less that we are using too many resources. Okay, this is all described in this long block of text. And the last section here on the admin page is for localization. It says below you can modify the textual messages that appear in the platform. If you leave a value blank, its default value will be used. You can use this to completely transform the platform's interface into another language for your users. Okay, so like if you don't like the word idea being used on the different pages, you can call it something else. You can call it a spark, or I don't know. You can Use whatever word you want. If you don't like the word settings, you can use a different word. If you don't like the word admin, you can use a different word. Plus new idea, you can change it to something else. If you don't like submitter, if you want creator or something, you just type it in, whatever you want. Even to the extent that if you want to not use English for this entire platform, you can also do that. So you are welcome to change any of these to whatever you want. And that is it for the admin page. Let's turn this portal back on. Portal header. Okay, now I've got a beautiful navigation. Go back to the ideas. So yeah, you as an admin, you have so much control to present to the users exactly how you would like this to be presented to them. You can give your users a great experience as you invite them to submit and manage, to work on and grow all different kinds of ideas, which you can then use to just improve so many things around your department. You get everybody involved and participating. And I hope that this is a great tool for you. If you have any suggestions how to make this better, my email address is justin@automateofficework.com.